I'm just going to give you a little walk around to the rear end of the tractor as I kind of do the intro to part 30. Is if you've watched my other videos, the shop update videos, you kind of know that I've been busy. So I had some footage in the can before I went to Denver, and then I've really kind of been busy with other things. I've got a lot going on with building that rack and stuff. But anyways, what I am doing is trying to get that seat plate off of there. And to get that seat plate off of there, I've got to disassemble the 3-point hitch, and I'm really having issues getting the thing apart. It will come apart one way or the other, rest assured, but what I want to do is, as long as I'm doing it, get it apart and get it working properly. Regardless if the thing's ever used again, I still want to, as long as I'm taking it apart, get it apart and fix it so that it does work and it does work properly. There's a lot of issues. I can't get the bolts, or I'm having issues getting the bolts out of it. Out of the 4 bolts that hold let's call it a universal joint in there. Out of the 4 bolts that hold that, I've only got 2 of them off so far. And that'll be explained later in the video. But I'm still working on it, trying to get them off. And the seat post will be coming off this week one way or the other. Even if those bolts break, we'll get it off of there. But I just wanted to kind of give you this intro, tell you that it's not probably a great video on getting a lot accomplished on this tractor this week. It's more problems that I had with getting stuff apart on this rear end to achieve getting that seat post plate off of there. But here we go. It'll start. This will be part 30 of the tractor series. Everything in this tractor is so rusty. I'm trying to get the pin out of this. I got it. This is the got the cutter key out with the pin. Let me go get something to try and turn that with. I kind of had sprayed it with penetrating oil. Anyways, this is a linkage that engages and disengages PTO. I'll try and get a pair of pliers on it. Spin it a little bit, see if I can loosen it up. No. I don't want to peen that over or it'll never come out of there. Let me, what I'm going to do is bring you back. I'm probably going to disconnect the bottom part of it and then work on getting that pin out of there. This thing is kind of fighting me the entire way. This pin was kind of put in from the back side, and it's hard to get to it to get it out. But I got it. Okay, and I can work on trying to free that up a little bit. It's really stiff. That pin is really in there. Just pulling the seat post off. Kind of trying that in between, trying to break the nuts, bolts free on the bolts free on the 3-point hitch. Having a problem getting them things to break free. Okay, that's off. Just kind of for reference, I've removed the set screw and laid it over on the axle. Now, the pin on this thing is almost all the way out. Kind of the same way with that one. This one is worse, but so I'm going to try and drive it out and okay, so maybe I won't drive it off for now. I'll bring it back. Okay, so what I did is I pulled this cover plate and bolt off of there, and what that is just a retainer. It's a spline shaft, so it's probably I'm not going to say it's pressed on, but it's probably on there pretty solid. So I'm back to getting these things apart. I can't even move some of these things. I've kind of sprayed penetrating oil on them and beat them around. Tried to beat it off with a wrench with no success yet. The other thing that I've tried to do is spin the spindles on this, and I can't get them to move either. So I'll bring you back when I make. I did get one loose. This one back here is loose, but that's the only one that I've gotten loose so far. So I'll bring you back when I make some progress on something else that I just found. I went to start removing these hydraulic lines, and I noticed this thing wobbled. The bolt is broken off, and the mounting plate for that hydraulic line. So I'm going to have to fix that too. Very limited access to that bottom one, so what I did is spun this one up so that I could get my wrench on it better. I'm going to have to take this over to the bench, and it actually looks like that bolt has been broken off in there, that mounting bolt, and I want to take care of that. Not a big priority item, but just something that I want to take care of before I go back, put it back together again and find out that I didn't take care of it. So I got it off. What I'm going to do is take it over to, I got a bunch of junky oil out of it, and what I'm going to do is take it over to the parts washer and clean it up. I mean, you can see it's covered with grease and junk. I guess that one bolt isn't broken off. It looks like it was just taken out. So I'll bring you back. And here's the second one off. This one isn't nearly as greasy and dirty as the other one, even though it is greasy and dirty, which leads me to suspect maybe the one on the left-hand side or the driver's side was used more or leaking. So I'm going to take this one over to the parts washer, clean it up, and we'll be back. One of the things I had to do was stabilize this rear end while I am pulling on these bolts to get the 3-point hitch apart. What I had done is I had a little bit of a counterbalance issue, so I just took that piece of angle iron off of the splitting stand, the stand that was used to hold the tractor while I split it apart. I took that piece of angle iron off and just bolted it on the front so the front would rest down on it. Well, what happened was when I had originally started just trying to loosen them bolts, it pulled up on that, so that piece of angle iron actually came off the floor. The rear end wanted to twist around and come down and back. So what I did is unloosened the drawbar on it and swung that thing forward, and that stopped it until I really started torquing on these things. These bolts are, I've got that 3-foot 3/4 inch breaker bar on there, and I've got a pull pipe on it. One of the bolts came loose real easily. This one on the right hand side, the back one or the bottom one, came loose really easily. I did that with a box end wrench, 1.5 inch box end wrench, and just hit it with a dead blow hammer, and it came right loose. The other 3 bolts, I'm having real problems getting them loose. I really don't want to break them because, again, I have issues getting them out. So I'm trying to be gentle with them, but at the same time, I'm putting a lot of torque on it, and it twisted the rear end down again towards the back. So what I've done to stabilize it is put that jack underneath the back of it so that I can pull on these bolts and try and get them loose. So I'll bring you back for that. I'm not sure how much washout of light you're going to get through that door. But let me try pulling on this thing again. Let me try and get it in a little better position. It's being a little stubborn. I got it to move a little bit. It snaps like, and then locks up again, snaps, locks up again. Let me spray some more PV Blaster on it and maybe try and heat it a little bit, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so I've tried to heat it up a little bit to see if that would make any difference. I'm going to try and get some more PV Blaster in there where it's warm, heat it up again afterwards. Tried more heat, more PV Blaster, see what happens. I just don't want this thing to break. I'll bring it back. Let me show you what I got. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a ratchet. I don't have a 3/4 inch ratchet, but I do have a 1/2 inch ratchet with a 1.5 inch socket. I'm going to pull that out, chase them threads, both the bolt threads and the threads in there, put it back together, and try and break that other one free on the other side. I'll bring you back. Okay, so let me show you what I'm dealing with. This is the first one that I pulled out. I told you I got that loose, but I didn't pull it out. I kind of thought the yoke was threaded and this bolt was clear through here and threaded into the yoke, but that's not the case. It's threaded in here and pinned into the yoke. So I was heating up the wrong part. Well, anyways, I got it apart. I'm going to clean it up, see if I've got a die and a tap, that thread pitch, and I will clean them up. If I don't, I'll just clean these up on a wire wheel, put it back in so there's stability there when I try and loosen the other one up. Okay, so this is a bolt that came out of the 3-point hitch. And one of the things that I was worried about, now, again, I've only got this one bolt out, so I can only show you this one for the time being until I get another bolt out. But one of the things that I was concerned about was breaking it because I didn't know what it was. And at this point in time, I'm kind of glad that I did, because I don't know what it is. It measures 1.1, which doesn't equate to anything. I mean, if it was a 1-inch thread or a 1-inch bolt, the core of it would be 1 inch in diameter, and this is 100 thousandths oversized. So it's not 1 1/8 would be 1.125, and 1/16 would have been 625. So 0.625, but it's not that. And anyway, standard bolts don't come in that size, 1/8 or 1/16. It goes 1 inch or 1.25 inches. Not that you couldn't make a turn a thread like that on a lathe, but a standard bolt wouldn't be like that. So until I get the rest of them out, I have no idea. You know, get the rest of them out and compare them to one another. Again, I'm not going to even speculate on it. I had a thread gauge too, and the pitch seems to be weird size too. So until I get more of them out to compare them, I'm not going to speculate on it, but that's kind of what I'm running into. That's why I was afraid of breaking it, for two reasons: to replace it and to get the broken part out of it.